Hello, hello, everyone. It's Lennan, and if you're tuning in now, welcome to the new year 2022. And I hope that if you care at all, you, I don't know, are whatever emotion that you are about the new year, I wish that for you. If you're relieved, if you don't care, if you're into goal setting, I happen to be one of the few probably that doesn't set goals. I don't tend to do that. If I got my mind set up, if I've got my mind made up on something, I'm just gonna do it. There's just not any amount of law of attraction shit that's gonna cement it in my mind. But anyways, so happy New Year. Today I kind of want to just chat, and I mean chat hardcore, because I've got a lot to cover. I've got some things that I want to show you. I tend to talk a lot about I tend to talk about many genres on the channel, whether that be my spiritual practice, actual witchcraft, tarot, and things of that nature, tarot, oracle. And then I talk about some books, and the majority of the books that I talk about are in one of the previous genres. So I kind of wanted to talk and share some things from all of that. But first things first, I want to share my word of the year and talk a little bit about the card of the year for 2022. Now, the year of 2022 is the Lover's Year, and this is from the Barbara Walker Tarot. I have a whole video up on this beautiful red and white rendition of the Lovers. It's just so beautiful to me. But I wanted to share it because this specific deck and this specific card has changed how I look at the Lover's card. Now, to be honest, when the tarot books were coming about, the whole choice thing happened and people associated making decisions and choosing things with this card, even though to me that's more of a Chariot card. And so it never really resonated, and so it always kind of went to a love/relationship type of a dynamic for me. But in terms of tarot, the major arcana, in my opinion, is universal concepts. Concepts, not even archetypes, but concepts that every single human being will encounter. And so that kind of changed how I looked at the Lover's card as well. So I've really been kind of thinking about it the last couple of days as we enter the new year. And I think I've reawakened the card into meaning commitment. And that's because this specific card, this rendition from Barbara Walker, makes it look like a marriage ceremony, almost like a hand fastening, even though there's no ribbons. So it's technically just a ceremony. And then Cupid, of course, is up the top. And it does look very Marseille-like with the three figures and with Cupid up the top. But to be honest, the three figures I always assumed in the Marseille was he had to choose between a homely girl that was pure of heart and then this fair, beautiful maiden that was a bitch, that's kind of, I think I've read that story in one of the tarot books, and I don't know, it was so, the whole, I've got to choose between pure of heart and a little, on the Fibonacci sequence isn't quite right with her, and then the other beautiful maiden that is power driven, or whatever, just mean girl. So this rendition is making me think of the Lovers as the universal concept of commitment. And that doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It's probably easier for deck creators to take the lazy route and just put a marriage ceremony on the cards. So what if that's what we're seeing, is the concept, this universal concept of commitment? There are a lot of people on Earth that don't necessarily have marriages. They have commitments to one another. Maybe they have partners, they have mates, whatever they call them. It's the commitment is the crux, okay? And so I'm going to be delving into that. I probably will make a whole video on the card and the Lover's card, what I can come up with. But then on top of that, it kind of goes into my word of the year. Now, my word of the year I didn't pick it. It came to me. Very much like the word cleanse from last year, which was my Tower year. And a lot of things did get cleansed internally because I had to cut so much out. I had to cut so much stuff out of my life. People, like family that doesn't belong, anymore. Just some revelations that were really hard for my immediate family. That just means like my partner, me, my partner, and my children. It hit us hard. Just us four. It hit us hard this year. And so this coming into 2022, I wanted to look into my tarot card of the year, which is the Star, because last year was the Tower. And that filled me with a sense of hope. It did. But then I wanted this year to be about what is actually important. Like getting all the way down to the crux of Lennan spiritually and actually putting focus into the things that actually matter. So my word of the year is essence. And it came about very synchronistic. I have been working on a project, which I will share with you guys so soon. I've got a couple of projects in the works currently that will come out in 2022. So I'm very, very excited. And the name of that project, the word essence is in it. So I'm very excited for that. And after, as I'm putting the final touches on that project, that specific word kept coming up. And I linked it to the Star card. I linked it to the Lovers and recommitting myself. Almost like this year will be about a recommitment to myself and to the things that are really important. And so the word essence really, really made itself known. It was just like a beacon, and it was like this ball of light. And it's almost like I have to go and I'm going to have work to do to pull the light, that ball of light, into myself. And I'm envisioning some beautiful things to come from that. And I don't normally work with crystals, but for some reason, I kept looking at this one. And I want this specific crystal to represent essence, my essence, the crux of Lennan. And it is this beautiful piece of pyrite. Do people do this? Do people still do this? This is actually a very dark piece of pyrite. It's not very shiny, which I love. Oh my God. And I love that it's really gotten me thinking about how this is fool's gold. And it's about shedding that which is not real. That which it doesn't belong, because it's not gold. And it's like finding the gold. There's going to be a lot of alchemy this year. There's going to be a lot of getting rid of the fake shit. And I want this specifically, this crystal, which is not, it's a mineral, okay? I digress. I want to be able to have this on probably my Ouija table, or somewhere where I can see it all the time, and that will represent the beacon that I'll think about it. I'll think about my word of the year. I'll think about ways in which I can recommit to myself, in the moment, today, in the journal, and try to keep finding ways to find the gold, the philosopher's stone that is in me. So I'll be doing I can already envision a lot of cauldron work this year. So anyways, I guess two tarot books that I've been loving recently and that I want to work with this year. I may make videos utilizing them, because I did say, we're 10 minutes in, and I did say that I was going to share some shit. I've shared one thing. First off, this is not a new book. It is an old book. Let me see when it was published. 1986. Okay. and it was written by James Wanless. I think it's Wanless, not Waneless. He is the creator of the Voyager Tarot, but he made a Thoth book. Okay. And it's beautiful, you guys, so far. Okay, I'm not going to actually recommend it. I mean, you can if you want to go search it up. I'll leave it in the in the resource section of this video. But I don't necessarily, I can't actually recommend it because I've not done a lot of work in it yet. But from what I can tell, this is a really cool book. Now, my favorite Thoth book, besides the Thoth book, which is the Book of Thoth to me, is the Angelise, I think her name's Angelise Arian. The Thoth, The Ultimate Guide to the Thoth, maybe? Oh, I'll leave it below. Whatever. I love that book because it talks about the Thoth in a conceptual way instead of an abstract, spiritual, esoteric way. And I like that approach along with all the esotericism. But this is a workbook. Okay, now this does say New Age Tarot, which I don't like that. I don't like that name, but this is the 80s. Okay, so I'm going to try to give it the benefit of the doubt. But it says Guide to the Thoth Deck, and it's by James Wanless. And what it does is it gives readings. So it comes with, let me just share this with you guys. So there's a full, big as my hand picture of the Thoth card. And a little blurb down here about what it is like. Listen to this. I haven't read this line before. The full is breath, the essence of life. That's the first sentence. You guys, I'm telling you, this year is going to be beautiful. And then it had the beautiful thing about this specific reference book is that it has the number, of course, which is 0, the planet, the zodiac, the element. But the thing about this is it goes a little deeper than that. It says element of air. And then he puts up in the air. Ethereal, okay, breath of fresh air, which I like that take because if you get this in a reading and don't know how to interpret it because it doesn't seem to make sense, a lot of things in this book will make it make sense. For instance, it says characteristics. The green body means this, the open eyes mean this, right? And it goes through, the symbolism and what I consider his opinions are for the symbols because some of them aren't Crowley to me, but this just could be his take, which is fine. Okay, do tarot, #tarot your way. But then down here it says, I know you can't see, I'm just, like a teacher. Domains, it says mental, stimulating, creative, emotional, vital, expressive, physical, energetic, healthy, worldly, unconventional, and original, and a spiritual, intuitive nature. So it's almost like whatever you're reading, say your reading is in one of those domains, those key words can help you lock in, plug in to the Fool's energy and what that may mean in terms of its placement in things. So this is really helpful in terms of interpreting cards within spreads. So, and on that note, the very next page is a full spread, which is a full tarot spread, I guess you could say. And then it tells you all the positions, which all the positions are these words here. And it's like going on the body. So that's curiosity, playfulness, risks you have to take, genius, doubts, growth, and learning. And it's just every single major arcana has a spread. Like, look at this. That's for the magician. And I've done one already. And it's so good. The spreads are so good. And like I said before, the beauty of this thin little book is interpreting Thoth cards in spreads. and then how to relate these cards to questions that most people ask the tarot. This is a good interpretation of the Thoth cards in terms of spreads. So let me stop rambling about that. So that I'll leave a link if I can find one, because it's pretty old. You might still be able to find it on Amazon. I don't know. And then the next book is by a astrologer. Let's just read what they say about what she says about herself on the back of this. Sheila Haidt, okay, is a naturally gifted, world-renowned master tarot consultant, instructor, and intuitive whose accuracy rate is 95 to 100%. And let me just tell you, I have been watching her YouTube videos where she does basically like astrology readings. She looks at what's going on in the astrology of the week and then kind of interprets for you, and she's always pretty damn spot on, okay? So really, really good content on her YouTube page if you want like what's happening in the stars this week, you know, what's happening with the planets and things. Really good messages have come through from her. And anyway, she's been around for a long time. She wrote this book. She actually wrote a couple books, but I bought this off of her website, which I'll leave below. It's just like SheilaHaidt.com, I think. And it's called The Infinite Tarot. Okay, and it says, the essential guide for connecting to the all-knowing source. It's just beautiful. I mean, look, full page Rider-Waite Smith images. And the cool thing about this is that she has a quote, which I'm a sucker for. Writing the guidebook for the project that I'm currently doing, I put some quotes in there. I love when books reference other books and other people that have inspired them, or when they think of a card, it makes them think of a person that represents an archetype, right? The quote for Judgment, how appropriate, we landed on Judgment, is Eleanor Roosevelt. You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you stop to look fear in the face. It's very nice. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. That's very nice for Judgment. So anyways, she put a lot of work into this guidebook. It kind of reads like a guidebook, almost like a little white book, except bigger. So it works like a little white book. There's a blurb for each card, and there's a little on her take on what all of that means. The beginning of this book, like the prologue, the preface, I guess you'll say, is really, really a good read too. So I'll leave the link to Sheila's website, YouTube, below for you to go check out. I'm excited to work with these two tarot books this year. Now, on to the things that I've been loving too. I got this for Christmas from my hubby, and I actually picked it out. So I told him to get me, I was like, just give me this $5 sketchbook, right? And look at this. I mean, I got it from the dollar store. We were just in there chilling one day, and I saw this, and I was like, you know what? I need this. I have a couple, but it was just this. Oh, I love permabound. I love permabound books. Oh my God. I've rarely had a hard cover sketchbook before. I like them to be kind of pliable, like my composition notebooks. But when I saw this marbling effect, and these are like my favorite colors, blues and green, olive. Olive is my favorite color, but it looks so good. But the main thing I love is the paper. It's kind of that sketch paper, it's textured. But because I'm doing a lot more drawing this year, I'm recommitting to the things that mattered to me. And I paint a lot, I doodle a lot, and I don't know, it's more so that I've gotten out of drawing, and that was my very first love, was sketching. And so I'm going to try to recommit myself this year. Now, if you're familiar with some of the oracles that are very primitively drawn, say like the Iris Oracle, I'm actually working on one of those myself. And as a way to reconnect with sketching, reconnect with myself and my essence, I'm going to be making my own sketched oracle. I don't know if it'll go up for sale, but I mean, I would like it to. That would be kind of cool. So I'm working on that, and this is actually going to help me to map out all that doodly goodness. Now I'm also working on a bigger project that I'm not going to mention, but I worked on another oracle that is more like elemental, because I want to reconnect with myself, as I've also decided to mirror myself with nature, get back to find the wildness that's in nature, not the humanity that we force onto nature, but recommit to nature and then allow that to mirror myself. So I am only going to show you one, maybe 2 cards. I took a couple of pictures this year that I knew I wanted in a deck of cards for me. Look at the backs. Look at the backs. Love this rust image. And one of those was of the moon. Oh, I got a finger mark on this. Actually, no, it's gone. Never mind. I took that picture and I knew that I wanted it to be a tarot card, an oracle card for me. And so I came up with a couple of like images that I put together for an oracle deck. I mean, look, that's a chunky deck. It's a beautiful, I mean, I love this. So I'm hoping that this, I may put it on, you know, whichever studio I put it on, or I made it with, I may put it on there sometime this year. But look, I love, honeysuckles were sacred to me as a child. Sacred. I still know how to pick the nectar right out of them things. And like, that's one of the images. I mean, isn't that a beautiful image? Oh, so this oracle that I made will be part of one of the tools that I use, along with the other projects that I'll have coming out this year, to reconnect to the essence that is me. So, last deck, this could have gone into Sylvain's tag for greed, because I have not shared this on my channel yet. I don't know, there's something about this that has made me feel like it's just for me, and I felt so, I don't want to show it because I love it so much. I've just been so greedy about I'm still greedy. I'm like not even showing them. Anyways, okay, it's the Tree Whisper, the Secret Garden Tree Whisper. You guys, I can speak tree language, but I can understand tree language, but I can't speak it fluently. So I cannot express into actual human words how much I love and appreciate and have needed this deck in my life. Now, the very first Tree Whisper, which is more of a like pinkish tree images, more autumn feel, I love it. I love it, and I use it all the time. Oh my goodness. But there was something about the Secret Garden. Oh, I'm sad I still haven't showed you the cards. There was something about this that is me. Like, look, that's the keyword is values, but that is a dragon, you guys. If you did not know, that is a dragon. And I don't want Mags to be upset that I haven't shared this. Not that she would be, but she's probably like, damn, I sent this deck to her and she didn't even share it on her channel. But it's just because I've been using it and loving it to the point where I'm so afraid to share it. You know, it's one of those decks that you have that you would hate for it to become popular, because then it doesn't feel as special, you know? And there's something about this deck that feels uber special to me. I mean, it's just so beautiful. I'm a tree person anyway. And I edged it in this beautiful. This is actually my favorite, absolute favorite color is this olive green. Perfectly matches the backs. I ended up having a perfect color for the other edition as well. It was like a rose gold coral color. But anyway, it's just so perfect. So I'm very excited. Anyway, I've been working with this. I'm still really greedy about it, but it is in my hot little hands and it will never go away. So that's something I'm going to work with, and I've been loving this year on top of the projects that I've got going. Another thing that I've just been like watching a hell lot is Nigella Lawson. She's a chef, okay? And she's got this one video on YouTube because she's a TV, personality. So a lot of episodes don't show up on YouTube, okay? Unless it's like bootleg. But there's this one episode called Chocolate Heaven. I swear. That video has been in my watch later list for years. And every time I get like chocolate cravings, I just watch that video. And it saves me from having to eat a candy bar. Seriously. Because I'll just watch and just veg out. And I actually got this at one of my thrift shops recently, okay? And it's her book, and it's called How to Be a Domestic Goddess. So this is like a dessert cookbook. But the way she talks about food, there was a recipe in here about bread. Oh, here it is. Finish, which makes me think of honey, beautiful honey, over at Fierce and Pretty. Finish rye bread. But anyways, so this is mostly baked goods, which is what I do. And just listen to this. This is the first sentence of this Finish rye bread recipe. This is my adaptation of a wonderful loaf, which comes from the equally wonderful Beatrice Ojakongas. I'm trying to say that in Finnish. It's dense, dark, and aromatic in an extraordinarily comforting way. I'm not Finnish, and yet I warm to this loaf as if I were brought up on it. I don't know. It's just something very. I plan to make this. That's why I was bookmarked in honor of my beautiful friend Honey. But anyway, there's just something poetic. There's just something so poetic about the way she talks about food and the relationship that she has with food that I've been exploring and loving within myself as well. And I think that recommitting myself to being more healthy minded is going to be something that I try to strive for this year as well. Now, I'm pretty healthy. I am pretty healthy. I love healthy food. I'm not picky at all. But just doing some things that I know that I need to drink, more water, things like that. Just healthy things, and adding some poetry in there will help ease my soul into that, I think. So that's definitely something I'll be working on this year. Now, the last thing I want to share, because we've been on for a long time, I know, is art. Now, along with essence, getting back to the crux of Lennan, there are things that I do, and I have done for years, that I do all the time to maintain my sovereignty, my sovereign relationship with myself. And one of those things, that's going to sound crazy. One of those things is I make paper crowns, all right? Whether it's out of aluminum foil, cardboard, glitter paper, rhinestones, whatever. I love to make masks and I love to make crowns. It's just something that I've done since childhood that I continue to do to this day. Whenever I feel myself, my sovereign relationship with myself wane, whenever I feel like maybe I'll look in the mirror and I don't like what I see that day, because, it happens. I'll sit down and I'll be like, okay, well, I need to make myself a crown. And I will get all my art supplies out and I'll just, take 10, 20 minutes and make myself a crown. And I went into this specific project with a totally different vision, but I had green paper and I had some like white glitter paper, and it evolved, you guys. And I ended up making, let's see if I can just, I ended up making myself, oh, she's right, an empress crown. I don't know how this happened. Complete with the 12 stars. I put them on wire so that they look like they're floating, like the Rider-Waite Empress. But it's so beautiful. And I made like little leaves because it kind of looks like laurel leaves. And then she's got her 12, stars. But I did this out of glitter paper. Let's see if it'll show up. There's not a lot of light coming through for some reason. And they're all moving really cool. They're all waving at you guys. But anyways, I'm so proud of this. These paper crowns, and look, you can still see like all the hot glue and shit, but I keep them in places. I keep them around the house, like on surfaces. They're just like, set places like this, just kind of, like that. So, you can't even see any in frame, but they're everywhere. So, that's something that I did that is helping me get back to the importance of me, my sovereign relationship with myself, my this aspect to, spiritually speaking, with the Empress, of getting back to the power of creation, the power of the universe, like cosmos. It's more, the Empress to me is more about the creation of our planet, and the planet as an archetype, like Gaia and things like that. So anyway, so that's something I'm going to be working on this year, is getting back in touch with the Empress that is me, as a reflection of the Earth as a planet, and the deck, my wild nature deck, will be helping me with that. And then the last two things is 2 pieces of actual art that I wanted to share. My child, my youngest, he's 12. He drew this for me. And he brought it to me, and I was going to bed. It was late. I was in the bed, and I think I was watching TV. And he came into my room, and he said, "Here, you can have this." And I was like, "Oh, why don't you tell me about this?" Because instead of saying, "Oh, what is this?" Because that sheds a little part of their confidence, because they know what it is. And they expect you to know what it is. So when you ask them, "What is this?" it tells them that you can't see what they see, and that kind of sheds their confidence a little bit. So I try to reword that into, "Will you tell me about this?" And so he said, "I don't really know what I was supposed to draw, but I know it was for you." So it was just like one of those things that hit him all of a sudden, and he gave it to me. You guys, okay. I put it in a frame because I loved it so much. Doesn't that look, oh, you can see like smeared. There you go. You got my ceiling fan, but that's a little bit better. Doesn't that look like a wild unknown card? But I told him, I was like, this is a nest. This is a nest. I can see it, and I love it. And he said, "Well, I was just playing around with my pen." Like, he's got one of those micro pens, because he's very artsy. And I just love it. And I found this at the dollar store. This frame is like a fake snakeskin. I just thought it was so perfect. So I'm going to hang it up on my wall. I love children's art. Love it. I love it. I dreamed of the days when I could hang up my kids' art. when I started having babies years and years and years ago. I dreamed of that day. And then the last thing is from an artist that inspires me to a level that he doesn't understand. Okay. Years ago, there was a YouTuber that no longer makes videos, but she's still on Instagram, and I loved her. It was Rose of the Dance of the Soul Tarot. And so anyway, I started following her on YouTube. Now I follow her on Instagram, which is where she mainly puts out things. And she shared this artist called Burnt Paw, which is such a cute name. And she shared it on her stories on Instagram, and I was instantly drawn to his art. And since then, it's been years following him. Since then, I've learned so much about his art, the way he presents certain things in his stories, and his music. You guys, I'm this close to buying every single one of his albums, because soon I'll have just done that anyway. I'll buy all of them. But he's a musician, and he is an artist using mediums like pencil, charcoal, watercolors mainly, I think. And several times since posting some of his art, I have felt drawn to the point of telling him, this is me. I'm sorry, but you drew me. You connected with me somehow, and this is me. And one of them was a figure that he drew of a swirling, full-figured woman with a dragon. I cannot express. I DM'd him right away, and I was like, this is me. I'm sorry. Somehow you linked with my spirit and you drew me. Like, she looks exactly like me. Even though his lines are very squiggly, okay? It's very intuitive type art. And this specific piece he sent to me because of the same concept. It doesn't have dragons, but I framed it as well. It's this beautiful purple-haired goddess here with roses. Isn't she lovely? Oh, it was her expression. This, almost like this melancholy, but this pirate smile. You know? Not a full-fledged smile, because it just takes so much for me to full-fledged smile. It's more, if you're gonna get me, it's you know, it's a pirate smile. And it's just Mona Lisa expression of this that I love. And I framed it and put it behind glass because I didn't realize that instead of a copy, he sent me the original. Like, the original. Some watercolor paper. I don't know. I've been slipping him some coins, and sometimes he sends me some copies, like photocopies of his art. And he's based out of Edinburgh. But anyway, I'm going to leave his Instagram below and maybe his Bandcamp link, because I want y'all to go listen to his music too. Because it's like I'm getting transported by guitar strings to another world. To a world full of witchcraft. And it's just like incantations that draw me in. So I am super excited to see what he comes out with next. And whether he connects to my soul anymore. So, that was a lot, I know. But I'm very excited for the new year. Please, if you have a word of the year or a card of the year or whatever, leave it below. If you have a special deck that you like the Tree Whisper. I'm planning on framing this as well. If you have a special deck that you want to work with, some kind of, maybe a concept or something, I don't know. I'd love to hear about it. So I hope everyone is gonna stick with me on the channel. I'm kind of excited. This week. I thought it happened in February, but it doesn't. It happens this week. It's my 2 years channelversary on YouTube, and I'm just ecstatic about that. And I've met so many beautiful people this year. I do want to reconnect to all you guys. I'm gonna finally use my community tab. I can figure out how to use it. I will definitely connect with you guys that way. And I'm excited to see what this year brings on YouTube as well. And all your beautiful content. And of course, if you don't make content, I hope that you stay with us in the comments, because you make up us as well. And this tarot tube, this witch tube, whatever tube you're in, that you found me through. But I'm excited to see what this year brings. And I hope to see everyone again on the channel. Much love.